ACC Board of Directors open session, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. And with that, I'd like to ask Barb to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we do have a quorum. We have 100% attendance of all board members. And with that, Bob?
I would like to amend the agenda to add one item under new business, which would be the appointment of 3 directors, our maximum allowed, to a committee to study the projects, our FMP projects.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the amendment to the agenda? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you, Bob.
Mhm.
With that, I do need a motion on the existing consent agenda and approval of the minutes and the rest of the existing agenda.
Okay. I move we approve the minutes and approve the amended agenda.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Aaron to introduce our guest.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have annually DLC makes a report to this board, and they are here this evening to provide that report, and Bill, I believe, is going to provide that for us. So, thank you.
Howdy. So good evening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you tonight. DLC has been your landscape partner here for a little over 6 years now. We've been in business since 1989, and we're 100% employee owned. Sorry, skipping one right here. My name is Bill Redford. I'm the your field operations manager. I have Mike Rasmussen with me. He's our branch manager, and then we have a photo of the crew. It was a little bit colder when we took that crew this year, but they're all still here and a lot warmer right now. Earlier this year, we had the honor of being presented with the ACC Vendor of the Year for 2025. We are very grateful to partner with Anthem to help keep your community functioning and looking beautiful. We're looking forward to the years ahead to serving your community. DLC has many specialized departments and specialized equipment. Our efficiency division is innovative, and our vetted investments in technology help crews do more in less time while staying safer. We've invested over $1 million in equipment to help our crews work more efficiently and provide better results for your community. This is a few examples of some of our equipment. We did switch to electric leaf blowers and trimmers about 3 years ago, so they're much quieter and cleaner than the gas models. You know, a lot of the early mornings we're here, it helps a lot keeping that noise down. We have our Tarco truck, there's one in the middle that collects materials curbside. The crews can just blow everything to the curb. That guy comes through, sweeps it all, sucks it all up, and just keeps it from having to lift everything, putting it in a truck. We brought that to the Touch a Truck event the last few years. It's been a big hit with the kids over there. The Harper Hawk is on the left. Like, you'll see that in the main park. It picks up leaves. That whole unit just picks up, dumps it into a trailer that we can dump off the back of our bed. And then we also use it for dethatching. We can put a different brush on there. It detaches during turf transition, which, believe it or not, will be here very quickly. This is a few pictures of OWP Community Center and that. It's we first started here, we addressed a lot of overgrown shrubs in the tennis courts, and we did a lot of rejuvenation pruning for sustainable landscape management. And after that, we were able to keep them, you know, at a nice size and keep that through there. That one. And turf care, we expertly manage our turf areas with regular mowing, edging, fertilizing. These are good examples of the soccer fields. So it's 2021, 24, 25, and 26, what it's looking like out there right now. Believe it or not, we're only 7 weeks away from overseed, which is crazy. We just applied the last round of fertilizer on all the turf zones at Anthem that will be overseeded for rye. We'll keep fertilizing the Bermuda as long as we can until it goes dormant. We did do a big push this last month on turf weeds, any leftover rye hanging out. So you can see there's like Main Park, there's a lot of kind of brown areas. Those were all weeds. So we did a good job of killing all those. It'll help the Bermuda grow and get a nice base in before the end of the year. Been doing some community center enhancements. We just wrapped up some enhancements back behind the pool area. We were able to complete some much needed turf conversions back there around the pool, the fencing, keeping the sprinklers from spraying on the fence back there. We changed all the heads to MP style rotor, so it's less overspray, things like that, spraying all your fences and sidewalks and that. And then we did a drain back where the showers are at. So any of that showers, that'll keep that from pooling back there, and it dumps it back into the wash back through there. Some weather challenges here. Over the last year, Arizona's weather has featured record warmth and dry conditions. So we've had record-breaking winter. So December 25 to February 26, we experienced the warmest winter season in history. So what we do is we work very hard to make sure your plants, trees, and turf receive the right amount of water to help keep them healthy while using your water wisely. Kind of one of the things we do the last 2 years, that has been some of the hottest on record, but even with the record temps, we were able to come in 15% under your water goal last year, which resulted in about $60,000 in water savings and 17 million gallons of water that we were able to save. So just kind of perspective, in 2024, there was 157 million gallons of water, just the water and everything out here. So this year, we're currently on track with the budget. We're about 12% under budget and about 5.5 million gallons of water saved so far. So one of the ways we do that is our team reads your highest use meters every 2 weeks. So what we do is we look for leaks, with the water bills kind of going high, we'll monitor that and see what's going on. So we'll constantly monitor the weather. Our water department will tell us, hey, shut it down. We got weather coming in. Where that, how many days of water a week. So we have a whole team, a division that does that. And we have had some cooler temps this year, which has helped a little. And then we've had a little bit of rain here lately, but not enough to shut the system down or anything. So we'll keep track of that. And if we do get a good monsoon, we'll be able to shut the water down. In our tree care, you have 17,565 trees just in council. You can count them all on the map right there. So our arborists will visit your property multiple times a year, selecting trees for above contract pruning, as well as the on-site crew recommending the trees to them as well. And then our arborists are currently on site selecting the trees to be pruned in phase 2 of 2026. And our on-site crews they'll conduct the structural pruning and lifting of your tree canopies under 10 feet while they're in the cycles each week, as well as any work order requests that we would get. So some community projects. Sorry. We have the poly to PVC upgrades we've been working on. So the poly tubing becomes brittle after 10 or 15 years, but the PVC is more durable. It'll last you about 50 years. We've completed upgrades at 3 of your entries points. So Daisy to 17, Anthem Way to 17, Gavilan to Daisy. And we just wrapped up the 4th phase from Daisy, just continuing on that route. And then we've done, the community center, some areas on the west side, some corners and enhancements over there. We've done 4 or 5 corners over there. We just finished some sod repairs on the baseball fields. We had a month gap between all the baseball games. So that sod's coming in really nice over there, as well as we had about 400 square feet extra. So we put that on the patch on one of the soccer fields. Liberty Bell splash pad, we planted a couple of trees over there, added a sidewalk to the gate, prepared an area for turf conversion, and put some sleeves in for future needs over there. We have some planning projects coming up on Independence and Whitman. The culvert mapping, we went through and inspected all your culverts recently. So the GIS team is putting together recommendations on any culverts that you're going to need cleaned. So we'll have that coming here pretty soon. This is just some community parks. So I just wanted to show you a couple. This is Opportunity Way and some of the softball turf. These are areas that never get overseeded. So the Bermuda has more of a chance. I just wanted to kind of show you kind of what those fields are looking like. They're looking really good right now. And I've got just some community participation. Like I said, that Tarco, the Touch Your Truck, the Music in May, 4th of July, Autumn Fest, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Anthem Days. We really enjoyed working with you guys on all of those events. And overall just wanted to say thank you very much. And if you guys have any questions.
Do you have any questions from the board? Any comments? Any questions or comments from the audience? Brian, why don't you come on up? Why don't you take over the microphone, and if you could direct your questions to the board. Back there.
So first I have a comment. There is much more to Anthem than the community center, the civic center, and the parks. Okay, that's my first thing. Second thing is, I heard Bill, I believe, was give us an update on the upgrade, if you will, of the polyurethane to PVC. When I was here last, I think it was in October, I asked, will there be equal work done in Anthem West and Anthem East? I didn't hear him mention Anthem East at all. So I'm sorry, Anthem West at all. So I'm concerned about that because I live in Anthem West. And the last issue, there was a question, what happens? So I heard pruning of trees, but what happens when a tree is removed?
Okay. All right. Aaron, did anyone want to comment from your staff? Mike?
I'll go ahead and comment to those. So the poly to PVC, in 2026, we did poly to PVC work, as Bill had mentioned, from the Daisy Mountain entrance along Daisy Mountain up towards Meridian. Last year in 2025, we had done some poly to PVC over on the west side. We move it around to hit the high visibility areas throughout all of Anthem, both east and west. And we are planning on doing some work every single year. I'm not really sure what we're doing for 2027 yet. We're still trying to hammer out budgeting. But rest assured, we will continue to do poly to PVC throughout all of Anthem, both east and west. About the pruning or the removal of trees, we hate to remove trees, but sometimes it's necessary due to storm damage. When we have irrigation available, we will usually replace a tree in that general area. We may not replace it with the same size tree. Commonly, we use a smaller tree and let it grow in. That helps us in a lot of different ways because we don't want all the trees to be the exact same size and height. A little bit of variation helps with everything. So, Brian, is there any other questions that you had?
Okay, you can.
So I live in Anthem West, and I drive along 43rd Avenue, okay? And I kid you not, there are probably 15 missing trees all along the sidewalk. So how long does it typically take before a tree is replaced once removed?
Well, again, that depends on if there's irrigation in the area. If there's no irrigation, we cannot replace a tree there because it will just die. And then that's where we have to figure out where we're doing our next poly to PVC. But we have hundreds of such areas throughout Anthem, so we've got to pick and choose our battles.
So I mentioned that there are trees missing, the point being that there are trees there, and those trees are living without irrigation.
Well, once a tree is established, it can survive. If it is a desert-style tree, it can survive without supplemental irrigation. But a new tree or a seedling or even a smaller tree, if it's not established, you need to irrigate it or it won't survive.
So is that to say that the trees that are there now are being irrigated?
I don't know which particular trees you're talking about or which sections, so we'll certainly look into it. Okay. But I've answered your question.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Brian, thank you. Brian, also, I'll just mention, feel free to email me if you have any further. Well, feel free. Thank you. Bill, I neglected to say thank you very much for your work and for your presentation. Appreciate it very much. Okay. I'm going to have you introduce our next guest.
Our next group is our IT provider. We have Alex Borsch here to present. He is their CIO. Am I right? Is it CIO? Yep.
Yep.
And then Rick Black is the one that I work with often. And then Mike Aldridge in the back. He's kind of the day-to-day guy. And then you have Mike Kelsel behind there, who is the here every day, slogging away, making things work. He's hiding behind the TV screen over there. So he's the wallflower in the group.
Thanks, Aaron. And these guys do all the work. I just present. So they spent so many hours here in the last year since we started. So they know everything here inside and out. So I really appreciate everything they've done. So I wanted to give you guys an update of the things we've deployed and where we're going here in the next year. So when we took over about a year ago actually, there were a lot of challenges we identified with there and a lot of places that needed to be stabilized in AT to make the technology stack here safe, make sure that there were no issues, and then there were some wishes where we wanted to go, right? So the first thing we did is we put in backups to make sure that the data here was protected, right? So we use Veeam Backup, which is one of the biggest backup solutions out there. We have backups on premise. We put immutable cloud storage here as well. So what that means is immutable cloud storage is protected from, you guys have probably heard of ransomware, right? This is where hackers take over backups or a system, they encrypt it, then they want a lot of money. So what immutable cloud storage is, the backups are never allowed by design to be modified after they're put there. So once they're up on Wasabi, no ransomware system can ever encrypt them, and even Rick can't go and update or do anything to them. So this is by design, right? So we know we have safe backups that cannot be corrupted or encrypted. If something happens, we can always get there. So it was very important to have that in place. And then we do daily, weekly, monthly backups, and every quarter we test restoring them, right? Because a lot of the time you have backups, but you don't know if they will actually work if you need to restore. So we test those quarterly. We put in Mimecast. Mimecast is an email bagging service. So it archives your emails, so we can go back many years to get the emails. It does spam and phishing scanning, virus, malware protection. We do user awareness training, so we can send out videos and see if people click on links they shouldn't click, and then we send them emails saying, hey, you messed up, don't do this again, when it's a real bad email. And then we spend a lot of time importing all the emails from your previous solution. So everything is in there, archived, and your email is protected. And your bottle cap is right there. We put in a software system called Manage Engine. It's a system for managing Windows computers. So it does security patching, Windows updates, asset management, lets us deploy software to computers remotely, as well as the operating system. So we automated the way new computers, new systems are deployed, and the way security is applied, right? So we apply security right away when patches come out, keeping your system secure. So, and this can all be done remotely. So it's a system we use at our other locations at the AEM, so it's a great system to use. Sophos, we put in protection. So Sophos is virus and malware protection, as well as an MDR system. So if somebody tries to hack any of the systems, there's a system out there, 24/7, giant call centers all over the US, which monitor, right? They do threat hunting, they shut everything down, they give us a call, and then they prevent the bad guys from getting into your system. So Sophos is one of the biggest players out there. So we put that in to protect your environment. We put in Fresh Service for our ticketing system, right? So tickets now can come in, they're organized, they come in through an email ticketing portal, there's an end user portal employees can go to. We put in change management, right? So we want structure, we want to know, hey, something in here was put in, when was it put in? So we can search everything, go back and say, hey, this was put in 3 months ago, these are the changes that took place, so we can trace everything in the IT environment, right? So we wanted to put in that structure so we know exactly what's going on and be able to support everybody's tickets in a very structured way. Cisco Meraki. So Cisco is one of the biggest companies out there for cloud security. So we put in new firewall, network security, Intrusion detection, put in a VPN, which is virtual private network, make sure the traffic is secure moving between the systems, as well as a content and web filtering. So more just hardening down the system, make sure everything is protected as much as we can. And probably the coolest thing for me, we put in Verkada. Verkada is a system of cameras that we put in at the community center, pickleball courts. It's a really great system, very high resolution. It has a lot of really cool features. Nowadays it uses AI. So it has facial recognition. You can say, hey, search for this person at my community. It goes through everywhere where the cameras are. And it says, hey, this person was here at 3 p.m. This person was here at 4 p.m. just through facial recognition, right? So if you're hunting somebody down, you can just basically ask the question and it will find you, track where that person has been, right? It needs to be in a place where Verkada cameras are installed, of course. Vehicle recognition, right? You can say, hey, look at this car. Here's a picture of this red car. We don't even know if it's a Honda or a Toyota. It's going to recognize the car. It's going to find it everywhere where the other Verkada cameras saw them. Motion search. Let's say you have a Verkada camera by a shed and something disappears from a shed. You can say, zoom in here and give me all the events when there was movement here. So you don't have to, you know how in movies you're sitting there for hours, you don't have to do that. You can just say, give me all the motion events, and it says here, 15 minutes ago, 3 hours ago, 6 hours ago, and then you can see, hey, somebody was there, right? So it's pretty cool. Natural language searching, everybody's used to AI nowadays, so, you can just put in, hey, where was that guy, in a baseball cap that looks like this, right? Area of interest filtering again, and person of interest notification. So you can even be notified when somebody shows up with a Verkada camera, you get a notification. Other projects. A bunch of boring stuff, but important, right? So multi-factor authentication across the organization, right? So a year ago, we didn't have a lot of that. So I think everybody's used to that, right? When you go to anywhere, you want to have an authentication app or get a code by text. So you got that on your Microsoft 365, RingCentral, Velocity, CivicRack, really everywhere. We put in domain authentication for your Wi-Fi security. So before, I think it was like a password that everybody used and there's really no security around there. Now we know who logs in. Got new PCs for board members and refreshed PCs for the staff. And that's about it. That's a couple of things that we did in the last year. Yeah. So any questions, right?
Thank you very much. Any questions from the board? Comments?
Yep, no, I do. I so appreciate you guys. I shouldn't probably say this, but it's so much better than before. So thank you so much. And I love your ticketing service too, your system. So I have a couple questions. Have we ever had to has Sophos ever shut down our system?
No.
Okay. And then some of us receive emails from the public and they will send an attachment and we can't get the attachment because Mimcast is so efficient. Is there anything we can do to try to get that?
Should they let Mike know or forward it to Mike if there's an attachment?
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, because today of course, I've always like 2 hours before the meeting trying to download something, so that probably wouldn't do, but next time I will.
Yeah.
And because Mimcast said, oh, I'll release it, and then they didn't, so.
Yeah. So nothing is perfect. I like false positives better than things the but
Right.
you will get false positives. It
Yeah,
will
no, now I
sometimes-
know
yeah.
that I can just send it to you and you can release it. Yeah, that's good. Would there be a reason that somebody's PDF would not come through? I mean, they wouldn't be a known person. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't,
You could have PDFs that have a link to somewhere where somebody tries to steal your information.
right?
So,
But if I know the person,
so what happens is people will get their mailboxes hacked,
yeah,
and then they will use their real mailbox to send a real
Yeah.
PDF, but
Got
they'll
it.
put a bad link in there. So yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, it's a constant fight.
I get that. And thank you. Thank you guys for being with us.
Any other questions, comments? Any questions or comments from the audience? No?
I just want to say to you guys, I've said this before, but I want to say this publicly in front of everyone. We appreciate the work you guys have done. You've helped us take massive steps forward. I'm looking forward to 2027 as we've talked about additional projects next year as well, helping us further harden our security and better take care of our residents and their information and what's available to them. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, these guys. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're on to number 6, Executive Director Baker, staff reports.
Yes, sir. Let me flip to that. Give me just 1 second. Just have a couple of items I wanted to update on. First is the EPCOR held a public meeting about a water rate case that they are looking at filing. They have not officially filed all of the components to it, so we don't know what they are looking at on rates yet. What they preliminarily showed was an uptick I shouldn't say next year, the first year of the new rate, and then it would go down after that. And when people asked about that, it was to pay for some one-time infrastructure to connect to it's for the Sun City districts, because they're a part of the overall water district area for EPCOR there. But to get the new rates approved, that is at least a year-long process to go through the Public Utilities Commission. It's different than like in the city of Phoenix. In the city of Phoenix, they're their own water purveyor. They go to their city council and their city council votes on it. That's how that happens. But because EPCOR is a private company, the process they go through is the PUC. So just making you aware that that process is starting, and it looks like they will be officially filing something there. On the property, right there, you can see these two pictures right there. Southwest corner of I-17 and Carefree and I-17 and Dove Valley. There are 2 strips of land right through there. Those both sold. One sold for $43 million and the other one sold for $45 million. Vestar was the one who originally started the project, but another bidder came in and was the successful bidder on that. So they have not released any plans or talked about if they are going to do what Vestar did or was planning on doing there, because they had some pretty significant plans with major retailers on that side. So that it's not impacting the Costco, which is on the other side of I-17. That's on the Halo Vista project. So late June, June 29th, MCSO held a town hall meeting in this room. They talked about several different items. The sheriff was here. Appreciated them coming out and visiting with the community there. That was a good evening. Anthem Neighborhood Watch is still looking for leadership. So if you are interested, if you're watching on TV and you say, hey, I would really like to volunteer in my community and be involved, Anthem Neighborhood Watch is that possibility there. And just as a friendly reminder for everyone, one of the reasons we speak into our microphone and just so we have a permanent record is these meetings are streamed and stored permanently on YouTube. So that's what we have there. So with that, I think there's a question.
Yeah, no, there is a question. Thank you. You mentioned the property by Carefree and I-17. We have some land that's a strip by Daisy Mountain. Have we had any activity on that one?
We have, for property that we own, we
Yeah.
have not had any interested parties approach us about that piece.
Okay, because we did at one point.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yes, we did. No one has come back. And the piece north to that, that's a private piece. We haven't had anyone approach us about that either. Or I shouldn't say us. They may have approached the seller, but the seller has not approached us with any ideas. The main challenge with that piece is access. As you can see on both these pieces, they have from major street to major street access. And that is not the case on the stuff that we have. So.
Thank you.
With that, I'm going to pass it off to Ms. Dana Morgan, who is filling in for Tanya Dahl this month. So thank you.
All right, so for human resources, the current workforce is 227 total employees. 54 of them are full-time, 173 of them are part-time and seasonal employees. Overall headcount is consistent with last year. We do have a staffing update. We are happy to share that Angie McFarland has stepped into the role of customer service supervisor for the community center. Angie has been with the ACC for 4 years and has already established herself as a leader on the team. Angie will oversee the day-to-day customer service operations, helping to ensure our residents and visitors continue to have a great experience at the community center. For our projects, one of our strategic priorities this year is tied to our operational excellence pillar, has been strengthening safety culture across the ACC. We want to protect our employees and residents. And to do that, safety needs to be part of how we operate every day, not just a policy on a shelf. Over the past few months, we've built ACC's first full safety program. This gives us clear expectations, training requirements, emergency procedures, and compliance standards to follow going forward. As part of this, we rolled out our first safety manual, created a cross-functional safety committee with staff from different departments, and started regular safety training. In June, our PF&C staff completed a 2-day OSHA 10 certification course, giving them a stronger foundation in recognizing and preventing workplace hazards. Going forward, our focus is on putting this all into action. Ongoing training, quarterly safety meetings, regular inspections, and continuously evaluating potential hazards. Also in June, we completed our respectful workforce training, and in July, we launched our general safety training module to all staff. For employee recognition, our peer-nominated monthly All Hands Award for July, focusing on the Anthem value Acts with Integrity, was Chris Montano in finance. Chris has been with the ACC a little over 4 years and has continuously demonstrated professionalism, dependability, and trustworthiness, handling confidential information with discretion, following through on every commitment, and always going out of his way to help others. His dedication makes him a valuable member of the ACC team. For our morale, we had a fun, hands-on team challenge. We had to build a 2-story house of cards, testing patience, precision, and teamwork. No surprise, PF&C brought their A game and crushed the challenge, taking the win with Sam, Isaiah, Mitch, Ken, Mike, Travis, and Preston. And finally, a big shout out to Scott and the community center team for spreading some summer cheer. They swung by all 3 buildings with treats in hands to say thank you for all the hard work that have been going in this summer. And I'll pass it to Scott.
All right, thank you. I should have brought some of those treats tonight. I'm gonna go right to the big news. We successfully completed our summer audit and we received an official 5-star rating from SGE. That is the highest score that you can get. And we had not gotten a 5-star in a few years, so we were very excited to be back on top. A few years ago, we did have SGE present, and even in one of the years that we got a 4-star, we were still the highest rated lifeguard group in the state and one of the top in the West Coast. So I think with our 5-star rating, we're gonna keep that title as best in the state as well. Speaking of things out at the pool, the Big Splash Water Park summer hours will continue through next weekend, and then we will have weekends only from August 8th through Labor Day. Those hours will be 12 to 5 once we go back to school. We have one more Friday night food truck coming up, July 24th from 5 to 9. Even though it's warm out, those have slowly gotten a little bigger as the word has gotten out that we're doing them more consistently. Last 2 weeks ago, we hosted the Summer Swim League Championships, which was very busy with hundreds of kids from around the valley competing. That's one of the pictures of some of our kids up there as well, mostly our younger group that we're hoping we keep them and then get them onto our year-round program. We'll be hosting the Anthem Sprint Triathlon again at the end of August, so look for more info on that. And we have a week and a half left of all those good summer programs, swim lessons and the extra aquabat practices and dive, and then look for our fall offerings, which are mostly on weekends coming up in August and September. In addition to the congrats to Liam and his team, another congrats to our coaches that were named to the top 10 coaches for the ASCA voting. They didn't win, but they made it into the top 10, so we're excited to see that. For our sports and fitness, we still have rec volleyball enrollment open. That will be an August program. We have been offering teen fitness programs all summer, and those are going strong, and look for more of those in the fall. We have an update on dog park memberships. We're up to 364 as of today. So we've actually had a few people getting them this summer. We expect those numbers to continue to go up as at some point it will cool off. The overflow high school parking that we started last year will actually open up tomorrow. So the high school is starting to fill up. They've announced that kids will pick up their passes Thursday and Friday. And so with that, we are opening our registration tomorrow to go with that. And then I wanted to do a shout out for everyone that was involved with the Independence Day celebration, but especially Jim and his team in Park Patrol for doing an awesome job and helping with the cleanup efforts as well. And finally, for our youth and family programs, we got 7 more days of summer camp, if anyone's counting. I'll finally have that noise stop ringing from all the joyous sounds that they make every day. We will have a Labor Day camp that's open for registration. This week is our last teen camp, if you want to call it that. It's our teen summer series. We did offer that every week, and this will be the last one, and that was a success. We do have some other things for the teens coming up because we want to keep them off those e-bikes. So we have a CABS class coming up in August, and our official Teen at the Water Park night will be August 28th. So let's get the word out so we can have some supervised fun instead of the unsupervised fun that they currently have. And then the other programs will be coming back in August. Thank you to the Civic Building for hosting them while we were busy with camp. We're excited to bring our dancing and chess and jujitsu and all those programs back to the community center in August. And with that, I will hand it over to Mike.
Thank you, Scott. So, Parks and Facilities and Construction. For the facilities portion, we've completed the reserve pump house roof repairs. We've replaced that. The steel sheeting, we have not painted it yet. It's a little bit too hot to paint a roof. So that's probably going to happen in September. We've replaced 4 exhaust vent fans for the pump house in the acid and chlorine rooms. That's just been completed. We're currently in the midst of HVAC replacements in the Civic Building. We had one completed on Thursday and Friday of last week, and we have another one being put in this week, and we'll have 2 more as soon as those get done with fabrication. The chiller tower, we've done some reprogramming on that, and we've replaced the float valve that was leaking there, so we've saved a little bit of water. We also replaced the coolant media that's within the chiller tower, and we just completed that today. We have a reserve item to replace the split air conditioner for the Little League concession stand, and that unit is currently in fabrication right now. And as Dana had indicated, the PFC team have all completed their OSHA training certification, and the guys really had a good time, and they learned a lot at that. Thank you, Dana. For landscaping, the 2026 granite replenish has just been completed, and that granite was from Daisy Mountain and Gavilan Peak heading towards Meridian, so we've replaced some of those granite areas. We've replaced the south entry falls. We had an issue with the water monitoring system, so the water level would drop too low and the pump would shut out. So we've replaced that or repaired that. In the parks, we've replaced some sod and recut the lines for the Little League ball fields and getting ready for the next season. We're still working with DLC for the soccer fields to remediate some of the soil and give the grass, the turf, a chance to get healthy again before the winter comes and it shuts down for the winter. We have just begun the 2026 reserves for railroad tie replacement. Craig and his team was on site today, and I believe they put in 55 of the replacement railroad ties for the Daisy Mountain Railroad. We've completed a warranty repair for the Pickleball North courts. There was a slight issue with water retention there. That's done and done. We have the painting of the bridge handrails, which is scheduled for August, and that's all the bridges throughout Anthem and in the parks. We have completed all of the iron and all of the block wall painting in the country club, And we are currently working in Parkside. Unit 25 began on July 16th, as according to the revised schedule. We did adjust that schedule slightly several weeks ago, and that has been posted and published. We've completed 32 of 37 wall repairs with an average cost to the ACC of $2,791, which is fairly inexpensive for this type of work. And we've been performing the limbo implementation of all of our assets for the parks and trails, and we're looking forward to posting some of that information for the public. For the capital projects, or the FMP projects, if you wanted to put it that way, for the Liberty Bell Park enhancement, we have begun the work with that. We've removed the grass and brush. DLC has installed some trenches. They've installed underground conduits. They have installed sleeving so we can put conduits underneath the artificial turf in the future if we need to. We've installed one water fountain out there. We've completed the concrete walkway or sidewalk in the front entry gate, and we've actually put in some of the curbing. Spoken with the contractor, and he is to be submitting the permits for county approval for the shade structures, the ramada, and this type of things that he's putting in. So we expect to be on budget, definitely on budget, definitely on time, towards the end of the year. So October, should definitely be done by October. And then for the facilities master plan, you may have noticed some of the neat signs that are around this building or in any of the parks or posted out and around through Anthem. And that's calling for input from the residents for the next tranche of the FMP process. So if you see one of those signs, take a picture of the QR code and it'll take you to a website and you can find out more information about it and actually submit your ideas and your projects if you feel the need that Anthem needs anything more than it's got. With that, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Jennifer Brock so she can give us her exciting financial report because we've been waiting for it all night.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you throwing some excitement out there. So if you like numbers and charts and spreadsheets like I know Barb does and Dave does, this part of the meeting is for you. So while Dee is enjoying a well-deserved vacation, I'm providing this month's financial report. And since it's a quarter end, we will also have an overview of our reserve and enhancement projects, as well as our property resale information. Our first report is a summarized view of the statement of revenue and expense for the month of June and year-to-date through June. Starting with the figures toward the bottom, we see that the ACC has an operating surplus of $310,000, which is $326,000 favorable to budget. For revenue, we are about $41,000 higher than budget through June. Enhancement fees are the main driver here, along with property resale fees. There have been 4 commercial property sales so far this year, totaling $18.4 million. For operating expenses, we are $284,000 favorable to budget year to date. Notable variances here include savings in personnel expenses of $192,000 due to open or transitioning positions. Administrative costs are favorable to budget, mainly due to lower professional fees so far this year. Community program expenses through June are under budget by $91,000, along with some cost savings from our Anthem Days and Music in May events. Facilities expenses are over budget by $54,000. While June's results were actually favorable, year-to-date expenditures have included essential repairs to our HVAC systems, irrigation, lake, pool, and splash pads. Despite this variance, we still anticipate to meet year-end budget. Below operations is the net income or loss for all other funds, reserve, enhancement, and the property fund. On a consolidated basis, the ACC has a $790,000 net loss for the year, although $637 of that is depreciation expense, which is a non-cash expense. We also budgeted a $1.2 million net loss this year in the reserve fund, so that number will increase as additional expenditures are made. We'll take a look at the reserve and enhancement projects in just a few minutes. Our next report is the balance sheet as of June 30 and year-over-year change compared to the prior year. As a reminder, this view has the interfund receivables and payables already removed. They're in the middle, so we can see the true change on both sides. Reviewing this month's report, assets have decreased $895,000 through Q2. One of the primary drivers is a decrease in cash up at the top. As mentioned in Dee's last report, due to the higher reserve spending, a mid-year transfer was needed to replenish operating funds. This is the movement you see between those funds. The remainder is the recognition of depreciation expense down at the bottom and the timing of the accounts receivable items in the middle. On the liabilities and equity side, the same bottom line change of $895,000 comes from the consolidated net loss figure at the bottom and the smaller amount up top for the timing for the liability amounts. As I mentioned, since this is a quarter end, we'll take a look at the status of our reserve and enhancement projects as well as the property sales. Listed here are the reserve projects for 2026. Comparing budget to actual expense through June. This list includes 134 various projects throughout Anthem. We have about $86,000 that rolled over from 2025 budget for projects that were not fully completed. For 2026, of the $4.6 million in projected expenditures, we have spent just over $2.2 million, or 47% so far. Progress on this looks to be on track for the year. Enhancement projects, and here is the same information with $54,000 rolling over from 2025 and the current Liberty Bell improvements scheduled for this year. Enhancement spending through June is $133,000 or 24%. To wrap up the financial report, we'll take a look at the Anthem property sales and enhancement fees received through second quarter. First slide is a look at the average home sale prices for each of our communities in Anthem over the last 12 months. This particular chart does not include sales for commercial properties. You can see that Parkside and Villages have a bit less fluctuation than Country Club, where there's a broader range of sales prices and a lower number of sales. This variation can occur depending on the mix of homes sold in any particular month. And here is the average home sale price in each of the communities through quarter two. And then compared to the same period last year, off to the right there. If you take the total sales of all communities divided by the total number of homes sold, the average home sale price for Anthem as a whole was $630,000 in Q2, and Q2 of 2025 was $633,000. So we're right on track there. This chart is the number of properties sold in Anthem over the past 3 years, with 2026 as the green dotted line. These figures do include 4 commercial properties that have sold so far this year. And here are the total figures for the number of properties sold through quarter two. This year is higher than the last 2 years by 3% and 6% respectively. And finally, here is a look at the enhancement fee revenue for the last 3 years, again with 2026 in the green stripe. Reflecting the same trend, that this amount is higher than the previous 2 years. And with that, I hope everybody's still awake and super energized by all this data. There is one more thing that I want to mention besides how much I miss Dee right now, and that is the 2027 budget. Believe it or not, that time is here. Budget workbooks have actually already been given to the directors, and we will have draft budget reports by mid-August. So we are already underway looking at all that good stuff. I believe the board budget work session is scheduled for Wednesday, September 9th. So mark your calendars. And with that, I will turn it over to Steve.
Thank you, Jennifer. For communications and special events, the Veterans Service Award nominations are now open through October 2nd. This annual award is presented to any individual or group that has displayed extraordinary service or selfless dedication to our community's veterans. The nominee is selected, must be able to attend the Veterans Day ceremony on November 11th of the current year. Resident dog photo submissions are currently being accepted. We're looking for photos of your dogs to feature in our upcoming Anthem Community Council promotional materials. If you have pictures of your furry friend, especially at the Anthem Dog Park, we would love to share that for you to share them with us. Feel free to include your dog's name and any fun facts or information you would like the community to know. Anthem's Market in the Park is returning on September 13th. Come by the park on a beautiful Sunday morning and enjoy shopping, food, and friends from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you are interested in becoming a vendor, please visit anthemcouncil.com/market in the park for more details. The Anthem Area Business Directory. If you are looking for a plumber, painter, pizza, or a paralegal, the Anthem Business Directory can help you find what you need. The directory features only local businesses to the Anthem area. Support local businesses and visit the Anthem Area Business Directory located under the Business tab at anthemcouncil.com. EPCOR offers a special program to assist disabled American veterans with any disability level with a $10 monthly credit on your water bill and wastewater bill. Also, if you are a service member serving away from your home, you may be eligible to have both your water and wastewater bills waived for the duration of your deployment, and you will not have to pay those back when you return. As you can see, the Civic Building remodel is officially underway. The finishing touches are scheduled to be completed in the next couple of weeks. Thank you to all the ACC's department for assisting with this project. The new resident orientation is scheduled for Saturday, September 26th from 9 a.m. to noon right here in this room. If you are a new resident or an old resident and want to learn more about Anthem, you are invited. The ACC and HOA staff will be on site to answer any questions or concerns you may have, and refreshments will be provided. Go Green is quickly approaching again on Saturday, October 10th from 8 a.m. to 11. Please visit anthemcouncil.com for what items are accepted. And finally, a big thank you to all the staff, volunteers from King's Church for passing out waters, and most importantly, Daisy Mountain Fire Department, MCSO, for their great work on the 3rd of July. As an extra item of note, we did have a porta potty on July 3rd that night go up in flames, and thank you, Daisy Mountain Fire, for coming out and extinguishing that. And now I will turn it over to if I can make one note on that porta potty, it was some shenanigans, but the thing is we have to pay to replace that as an organization. That's not a free pass. So if you see something and you're concerned about it, say something, call the police, anything like that, because that does end up coming out of our assessments. So just as an FYI for folks. And now I'll turn it over to Chairman Duckworth.
Well, thank you very much. Wonderful reports. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Yes, I do. Just so that you guys can stay around and so that you know I've been paying attention. So one question, Steve. I didn't know we did a new resident orientation. Is that a new program?
It is brand new. We're scheduling it to be semi-annual, but the first one will be in September.
I think that's great. Good. And I do have a question, and maybe you want to defer this, but you know I'm a watchdog for the enhancement fund contribution. And I see that we're over budget. Now, it may not sound like a lot, but I guess year-to-date, 37,000 XXX. Wouldn't that be, I'm not sure why we wouldn't just always be on budget there. I mean, are you paying certain bills? Do we have a concern in that regard?
No, so if I'm understanding the enhancement contribution, we're better than budget. That means we're taking in, right, was that the question? We're taking in.
No,
taking in-
no, I'm talking about the contribution that the enhancement fund is making to our operating budget, that 444,000.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to
no.
make sure that it stays at 444.
Yes, so currently, so we had 888,000 in the budget for enhancement fees. That was the target number we have for the revenue. And then 888,000 in revenue. And then we're, the 50% is the 444,000. So currently, each month, we are taking 50% of whatever we bring in for the enhancement fees and allocating that 50% on a monthly basis. And then as soon as we reach that 444,000, then we will stop. And anything above that will continue to go into the.
Got it, perfect, and I understand and I remember that now. Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments? All right, I need a motion to approve the staff reports and financials.
I move that we approve or accept the staff reports and financial reports with the thanks of the board for the hard work.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any further discussion? None. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. And Jennifer, that was riveting, I must say. Okay, we're on item number 7, executive business, and I'm going to turn this over to our general counsel, Jonathan. And Jonathan, if you don't mind, could you just spend just a second explaining what this is again, so everyone understands it?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a new state law that's going into effect and some recent case law that has directed community associations as a whole to refrain from taking any votes in the executive session during their meetings. Those votes will happen in the open session. The ACC is not a community association, it's a civic league, but we do voluntarily comply with the planned community statutes as a baseline for our framework on how to comply and orient our organization. So the intention behind this agenda item is to take any votes that would have otherwise happened in the executive session into the open session for final determination by the board.
Thank you. Now we're on item number 8, committee updates, Finance Committee. Bob, any updates?
The Finance Committee met yesterday, had a thorough report from Jennifer Brock, substituting for Dean Nordum. We also had a report from our financial advisor, which we get quarterly. The performance is right at our benchmarks, so we're in good shape on those two. Jennifer, anything to add?
Nope, I think that it was pretty short and sweet.
Okay, thank you, Bob. I'll give an update on the Business Support Committee. We will be meeting tomorrow. Last month, I mentioned that we've been working on a lot of stuff, and I just want to go through some of the detail tonight. It's been a very vibrant organization. We've got currently 7, I think we're down to 5 actual residents / business owners, plus we have 3 directors, board members who are on the committee. We've been meeting for about 4 or 5 months now. I don't have the exact date. But we started with a whole bunch of ideas, big and small. And we decided, well, let's start knocking off some of the small ones and get some wins. And the first win was a complete update to our outdoor signage policies to make it more consistent and quite a bit more business friendly. And that was accomplished and approved and is now in implementation. Then we shifted toward business resource page. And what I'd like to do is turn it over to Steve and have you share with us what you've done with the business resource page, and we'll get into a little more detail with each of those items.
Sure thing. Next. On the business, as you can see right here on the business resources page, that's our home page right there, the drop-down menu under business, and then you go to business resources. You can go to the next slide. So on this page here, we try to be as thorough as we can for any small business owners within the Anthem footprint. Any information that they would need that would be relevant to their business. We give them a little bit of insight into what Anthem is and how it's broke down, their business licensing, sales tax, and of course, below that is the new update to our signage policies. And also it gives them information on the City of Phoenix and Maricopa County signage as well. Some additional information is the Westside Commerce Park signage and commercial design guidelines on there as well. And to the right of the screen, you can see right there when you click on the link for the Document Center, that is what the documents will look like, and you click on those and you can download them and fill them out. Next slide. And underneath business, you'll see the Anthem Area Business Directory underneath the homepage. That is what the landing page looks like right there. And it'll list all the businesses alphabetically. Now, if you go to the next slide, please. If you type in, let's see, that one, let me see, I can't read that. So that one is under travel, and you can see we have 3 different travel agencies listed under there. Next slide, please. Under professional services, we have 3 businesses listed there. And one of the things I will say to note, you'll see some business owners do a very good job, very descriptive of their businesses. And some, could use some work as well. So be as descriptive as you can. And also you can make sure if you submit for your small business, you submit as much information as you can on there as well. Next slide. And this final one is for what a lot of us are thinking right now, plumbing, HVAC, and things to keep us cool. There are 3 local businesses there. So there are still a lot more businesses within the Anthem footprint, but right now we have a little over 70 listed on our page right now. So we're trucking right along there, and that's only within about the last 45 days. So thank you to all the businesses that have submitted their information, and just please be as thorough as you possibly can when submitting through our website. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. So that's up and running. And again, part of the charter is to see what we can do with the ACC to support our local businesses, keep them in business and keep them profitable, and hopefully keep them staying here. And so the next step and things that are coming that we're working on, one is now that we have 70 businesses, and there will be more added, we also have we have the website, we've got our ACC newsletter, and we have these tools within the website and all of the social media things that Steve works on. So we have all kinds of avenues to promote. So the next step we're working on is to do a business of the month and come up with an appropriate way to choose that business and have a package of promotion goodies that they will receive as the business of the month. We're also working with a potential vendor to, if you're chosen as the business of the month, you get these promotion things. And if you want to pay a little bit extra money, you get a 60-second or a 90-second video overview of your business that we would put up on our sites, and they would be able to advertise on their own as well. So that's what we believe will be coming, so we're working on that. In addition, we got into a lengthy discussion about home businesses. And it started with, do we want to promote home businesses or not? Interesting question if you think about it. And the conclusion was absolutely we want to support home businesses, their residents, and there's no reason not to. And so we're actually we're finalizing a document which is going to be turned into a formal document, which is a home business guide. Here are the rules of running a home business here, and it also ties with the HOA rules. So we're combining the HOA rules with the ACC guidelines, which quite frankly is very complex, in addition to the Maricopa County guidelines and the City of Phoenix guidelines. So it turned into just a crazy project that one of our, actually I'll give him credit, John Parsons, one of our committee members actually took on. He happens to be a very successful attorney, and he kind of loves this kind of stuff. I don't know how and why, but he does. But thank goodness we have him. So you'll be seeing that finalized shortly. That will be part of the new business welcoming packet, and we will figure out a way to also get this out to the home businesses. So we're excited about that, to see what we can do to just promote those home businesses. In addition to that, we're also working on, let's see, what am I forgetting? I think that's about it. We're also working on creating relationships with the outlets and also with TSMC. You know, the two gorillas in the room, or not in the room, we just need to make sure we've got a relationship with and we're understanding where they're headed and how we can work with them or not, and make sure that we're doing all the right things together. So I want to thank that committee. I want to thank Steve for all of your hard work. Laura, Bob, I'm very excited about what this committee is doing, and we'll have more results here in the next few months. Thank you. All right, I need a motion to approve the committee reports.
I move we approve the committee reports.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, committee reports are approved. All right, Aaron, any old business? No. New business. We do have one item that Bob brought up earlier, and that is the appointment of the Facilities Master Plan Committee. Barb, would you like to discuss that?
I hereby ask to be the chair of that committee, and I have wrangled a few people to join me. And so hopefully Nolan will and Mark will, and is that what you want me to say? Yeah, so if you would vote that we could be on this committee. Now this committee, so just as a plug for everybody, the FMP submittal for a one-page is November 8. The full proposal is January 31. So our committee will consist of 3 council members and a number of community members, residents, which will be going out fairly soon to promote accepting applications for that. It's a really fun committee to be on. And then in February and March of 2027, we'll be reviewing all the proposals that come in. So I would like to chair that, and I'm hoping that you will accept my own nomination as well as Mark and Nolan.
Any comments, questions? Mark, Nolan, are you ready for this?
I second. I'm excited about it. This should be fun.
And that's a third.
That's a third.
Aaron, did you have a comment?
We will be reaching out and soliciting members of the public as well, because there's a large contingency of members of the public who will be doing that. We'll be sending that out. So I don't want people thinking, oh, this is just 3 board members doing it. No, there'll be a large contingency of residents participating as well.
Yeah, and since the process just started, I think it'd be a good idea at the next board meeting to have someone just give a presentation, Barb, on the process and just to start getting the word out appropriately. Perfect. All right, we need a vote to approve the motion that Barb had suggested. Barb and Nolan and Mark.
I move that we
You got a
appoint.
second? Okay, is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you very much. Any other new business? None. Any future board agenda items? I guess I just suggested the presentation of the FMP. Okay. Okay. And then any other further open discussion from the board? Okay, is there any questions or comments from the audience? None. All right, with that, I need a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? Oh. Brian, you had a question. This is now. Come on up. So Brian, just a reminder that you have about 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Okay.
Understood. Please watch me. I tend to.
We're good.
So I have decided to take a different approach in my advocacy for improving the aesthetics of our community. So, and I mentioned before that I'll be emailing the entire board with all of my suggestions for processes and procedures that I think should be adopted. So the first, and we briefly talked about this. I'm going to pass a photo out here. So my first proposal is a retroactive remove and replace policy, where if a tree is removed, it is then replaced with another. And as I stated before, I've seen trees removed throughout this community, and they're not replaced. So the photo that is going around there, one is of a tree, and I have photos of this tree, probably 9 months. It's been marked for removal, but wasn't removed. And the photo on the bottom is what happened when it was removed. It's a jagged stump left in the ground. I don't think that looks good for our community. The second thing I'd like to propose is an easier way for residents to report issues. So I have a friend who lives over here in Anthem East, and he's not always able to attend and come and do this. And let me say quickly, I appreciate all of your time, because I believe that these are volunteer positions and you're not getting paid, but you are doing a service to our community. So my friend was unable to come to these meetings. So the photo on the top is of the entrance to his community in 2013. The photo on the bottom is a photo from 2025. So you can see the difference: trees removed, plants removed, cactus, and not replaced. Okay, so again, I believe that we should make it easy for residents to report things, because I believe they will. So I visited the website today. I didn't see an easy way to do it. Not everybody has time. I'm blessed with enough time to be able to come and do this, but other people can't. So I think that making it easy for residents to report issues should be an addition to our website. The third suggestion is that in addition to the reports that we're being given now by the council, issues that residents report are also tracked. So last year in 2025, I brought up the fact that along 43rd Avenue, the entrances to the communities were basically barren. So there are markers, but they're barren. I came to a meeting. Prior to the meeting, Aaron sent an email to me, and he said, this is what we're doing along 43rd Avenue. Well, they started to do that. They did it for all but 2, and they've remained undone, incomplete. So my suggestion for tracking these is so that the community has awareness of any issues that they've reported. Are they being taken care of? Okay. The third item.
Ryan, you've got about 1 more minute.
So the fourth item is, I am recommending that the board adds an aesthetics advocate. And I will volunteer for this position because, as you can see, I'm concerned with the way our community looks. So I'm raising my family here. I have family here in the country club and the landing. I'm concerned. So I am willing to do this. I have done it. Again, I'm blessed with enough time to be able to do this. But if I'm going to continue to do it, I would like a seat on the board to help make some decisions with how our community is run. That's all I have. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to.
Brian, thank you very much. Any questions from the board? Brian, I just want to go ahead, Mark.
I
think you brought up the point last time when you were here, you said it was October, about
I think it-
a unified way to come up with concerns from the community. And I think I pointed out then, I think it's a great idea. I think there needs to be like a dedicated, and there might already be, something on the website, something that says basically, I have a comment. And then somebody gets that message from ACC and basically filters it and sends it to wherever it might go. We don't want to put one for signage, one for landscaping, one for parks. If we just had something like, I have a comment and I'd like you to, be heard. Is there something like that?
Brian, we do have a general reporting form. I should say, Mark, we have a general reporting form right now on our website. We can certainly look at ways to make it more obvious.
Promote it, bring it to the front.
So that people are aware of where you can report, but we do have that.
Yeah, and I think this is, quite frankly, food for thought. Just a little discussion here. Steve, this might be something in a newsletter, just to remind people that this is a way to get comments done. Brian, I just want to thank you. I truly appreciate your passion, and I recognize it and I see it, and everything you have described is completely reasonable, and we'll look at it.
Okay, thank you
Very much. Okay, any other discussion? All right, I think we had a motion on the table to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Thank you very much. I'm sure you did. Thank you very much, all.